Hi guys, welcome to the part 2 video of the dividing polynomials lesson. So our fourth lesson of the unit 6. As a reminder, part 1 is our Ed puzzle, so if you haven't watched part 1 yet, make sure to watch that before watching this video. But this video will encompass part 2 of the notes, which is what we go over during our live session. So we're going to be dealing with dividing polynomials this time, and dividing polynomials up to power 2 or up to exponent 2 using the box method. So we're still using the box method that we used when we were multiplying polynomials, except this time we're kind of going to be working backwards. So first things first, our skills review. You saw the similar skills review during your Ed puzzle, but it's very, very important that you guys learn these kind of general skills. So to do number by number, variable times variable. As a reminder, when you only have one number, you keep that number. When you only have one variable, you keep that variable. So x times 8 is 8x. 4 times x is 4x. Since we only have one number, we keep the 2. X times x is always going to give us x squared, no matter what number is in front of that x. So that's going to give us 2x squared, 5 times 4 is 20, x times x is x squared, 3 times 5 is 15, and x times x is x squared. So going on to the example 1 from your notes template, we are given kind of this scenario where they give us the area and they give us the length, and we're asked to find the width. Well, in previous lessons, we were given two binomials, so we were given both the length and width, and then we, by multiplying, found the area. In this lesson, we're going to kind of be working backwards. They give us the end result, they give us one of the binomials, and we're asked to find the missing binomial. So to do this, we're still using the box method. We're just kind of working backwards with the box method. So our steps generally are, we're going to draw our 2 by 2 box. The binomial that they give us will go on the left. So they told us that we have a binomial of x plus 6. And then once again, all I did here was just rewrite the problem as the end product divided by the binomial given. So my binomial given was x plus 6. Fill in the first and last term. As a reminder, the first and last term of your end product never changes in the box method. So since we know it doesn't change, we can keep it in there and just write it, because we know they're not going to change. So we'll write in the 3x squared and the negative 48. So those are the first 3 steps. Our next step is to ask ourselves, okay, what do you multiply to get the top left number? Because we don't know this. We don't know the missing binomial. We also don't know what numbers combine to give us 10x. So it could be a whole, it could be 8 and 2, 5 and 5. We don't know. So we kind of have to figure it out. So first we have to ask ourselves, okay, how do we get 3x squared? We know we have to multiply by x. So what do we multiply by x to get 3x squared? Well, since we have a 3, and there's no number here, no constant or coefficient, we know there has to be a 3 up here. We know x times x is x squared, so we know we have to multiply by 3x. 3x times x is going to give us a 3x squared. Our next step is to figure out what do you multiply to get the bottom right number. So 6 times what number gives you negative 48? Well, 6 times negative 8 gives you negative 48. So notice now you found the missing binomial. Technically you're done, but it's important to check your answer because you can tell whether you're right or not wrong by kind of filling in your box. So we know that we can fill this in now. 6 times 3x is going to give you 18x. We can fill in this. Negative 8 times x is going to give you negative 8x. And if we combine like terms, 18x minus 8x is going to give you 10x. So if we check this, notice we end up with the same thing that we started with, the 3x squared plus 10x minus 48. So we checked our answer, so we know we're correct because we get the exact same end result. So we know our missing binomial, or we know our end result divided by x plus 6 gives us the binomial 3x minus 8. So this would be the answer you box. So going on to example 2 from your notes template. Same idea. We're given the area, or we're given the end result. We're given one of the binomials, and we're asked to find the missing binomial. So our first step is going to ask yourself, okay, what do we multiply by this 4x to give us 8x squared? Well, 4 times what gives us 8? Well, 4 times 2. X times what gives you x squared? X times x. So I know I have to multiply by 2x. 4x times 2x gives you 8x squared. So I found the first part, or the first term of my missing binomial. Then you ask yourself, what do we multiply negative 5 by to get negative 15? Well, negative 5 times 3 gives you negative 15. So this is our missing binomial, but once again, we don't stop here. We want to check our answer. So 2x times 5, or negative 5, gives you negative 10x. And 4x times 3 gives you 12x. And now if you combine like terms, negative 10x plus 12x or 12x minus 10x gives you 2x. And notice you have your 8x squared, check, your 2x, check, and your negative 15, check. It matches our end result. So both end results match, therefore we know we're correct. Therefore, we know our answer is 2x plus 3. That is our missing binomial, or that is what this expression gives us when we divide this end result by 4x minus 5. So example 3, hopefully you're starting to get the habit of it and seeing what we're doing. So this might be a different way you're presented the problem, where it looks like a fraction. As a reminder, a fraction bar doubles as a division bar. So this is still saying end result divided by x plus 3. So you still solve it the same way. We still have to figure out the top part, so we still have to ask ourselves, okay, what do I multiply x by to get 2x squared? Well, I'm missing the 2, so I put the 2 here. And I know x times x gives us x squared. Therefore, 2x times x is going to give you the 2x squared. Next, you ask yourself, okay, well, what do I multiply this by to get negative 3? So I know 3 times negative 1 is going to give you negative 3. I found my binomial, but I want to check. 2x times 3 is going to give you 6x. Negative 1 times 3 is going to give you negative 1 times x is going to give you negative x if you combine your like terms. 6x minus x gives you 5x. 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 matches our end result. Therefore, we are correct. Therefore, we know our answer is the binomial we found, 2x minus 1. So this end result divided by the binomial x plus 3 gives us the binomial 2x minus 1. So example 4 from our notes template looks like this. We're dividing once again. Once again, it's the exact same thing. So the first thing we should be doing is filling in the things we know. So we know one of our binomials that should go on the left. We also know the first and last term that we can fill in, since the first and last term never change. So let's put that in. So here's my binomial, n minus 8. 5n squared won't change. The negative 16 won't change, so I can put those in. So now I have to ask myself, okay, what do you multiply n by to get 5n squared? Well, you multiply 5n. 5, oh, we'll only have one number, keep the number, n times n is n squared, gives you 5n squared. Then you ask yourself, okay, what do you multiply negative 8 by to get negative 16? Well, I know 8 times 2 is 16, so we have a negative 8, so we're going to multiply that by a positive 2. Negative 8 times positive 2 gives you negative 16. Finally, we're going to check our answer by filling in the rest of our box. So 5n times negative 8 is negative 40n. 2 times n is 2n. Negative 40n plus 2n gives you negative 38n, a little bit cut off here. And notice everything matches. 5n, negative 38n, negative 16. Exactly the same, so we know our answer is correct. Therefore, I know my answer is here, what I found, the binomial 5n plus 2. My final example is example 5. So in this case, this one looks slightly different. Notice we only have 2 terms. So in the previous one, we had, 3 terms. We had our n squared term, our n squared term, our n term, and our constant term. In this case, I'm only given the x squared term and the constant. Notice I don't have, an 8x or a 5x or anything like that. We're still going to solve it the exact same way. So even though it looks a little bit different, it's still solved the exact same way. So first off, this is my first term. My square term is always going to be the first term, so I can fill that in. My last term is always going to be the number without a variable, so I still keep that negative 64. My binomial I still write on the left, the x plus 8, and then I just solve it regularly like I did before. So x times x is going to give us the x squared. To figure out what gives us the negative 64, well, what times 8 gives us negative 64? 8 times negative 8. Then you fill in the rest of the box. X times 8 is 8x. Negative 8 times x is negative 8x. Now notice in this case, when we combine our like terms, 8x minus 8x is going to give you 0. Or 0x. Which is why you have a missing term here. We don't necessarily write, x squared plus 0x minus 64, because that 0x is redundant. It's going to give you a 0, and anytime you add or subtract a 0, you get the exact same number back. So in this case, our middle term was missing because our middle term cancels out. So it matches, because we still have the x squared, and we still have the negative 64. Therefore, we know our answer is x minus 8. So that's the final example. So your homework for today is actually a worksheet. It's not going to be on Delta Math. So make sure to complete it on a separate sheet of paper or print out the worksheet and work it out on the worksheet. Once you're done with it, print it and then submit it on Canvas like we did last semester. An answer key is available on Canvas so you can check your answer, but you still have to show your work. So make sure you're showing your work. And also don't forget about tutoring. If you're watching this on Thursday, that is my tutoring day. So today's my tutoring day. I tutor on Zoom from 4:30 to 5. So feel free to join if it's still confusing or if you need help on previous homework assignments or your quiz, which hopefully you turned in at this point. So have a nice day.